And we're back. It's been about 3 weeks since our last video, and we did some traveling. We had a lot of family visits, went to Florida, visited more family, but we are back. So sorry, and thank you for everyone who's been patient. I know at least 2 people who have reached out and said, where's the next video? I'm dying to see this chicken coop. But in the past 3 weeks, we've had a ton of updates here, a ton of changes, and we're excited to share some news here. But first of all, the biggest visual change is the leaves. In our last video, we had just trees and limbs, but today we have a full forest in just 3 weeks.
Check it out.
So one of the biggest changes around here is our grass and our clover has finally come in. A little spotty, but we have some really awesome growth in some areas and not so much in others, but it is so much better than just having dirt. There, this way.
Look this way. Wow. Wow. Wow.
And in other news, we are soon to be on grid.
Dum, dum, dum.
So we have temporary power that is almost in place. This just got put in, last week? Mm-hmm. And it's been inspected, it's ready to go. And the only thing that we need is our transformer, and they have to trench, which I'm not sure if you can see these white flags, but we have these going all the way up through the woods to the driveway for about, 800 feet to get power. So that, God willing, is happening this week. Super exciting, because what does that mean for us?
Means longer showers, air conditioning, not running propane for the water heater, not having to use a generator, although we've really grown to love the white noise of the generator.
Somewhat. And no more spending, $20 a week on gasoline for the generator. Mm-hmm. So
no more running the microwave and using all of the power available.
So yeah, a lot of life changes for us going on grid. And even more exciting and more costly is our well.
Yay!
We got our well dug.
Woohoo!
Let's go there.
And boy, did they dig.
It doesn't look like much, but it's a giant hole in the ground, 982 feet deep, with a whopping half a gallon per minute, which is really nothing, but it will be enough because it's so deep. It's like 1,000 gallons a day of use. But we have a well.
We have water. Water is life.
Water is life. So I think this week or next week we'll be getting the actual pump in the system. And that is huge for us because we've been trucking in water, a giant, 40-foot tanker coming in. It can barely turn around. It's gotten stuck in our yard once. And we will no longer have to use our ICB totes for drinking water, which is just awesome. And this allows us to move forward with actually building a house, because once that foundation's in, there's no way for that giant tractor trailer here to turn around without clearing more trees. So, water is life. Soon.
So our last update is that we finally started the garden. Nathan got his tractor out and started moving all of these big logs and formed nice rectangular raised beds for us. And we got to work filling them up with some dirt that we got delivered a couple weeks ago. Now, my parents were in last week and they decided to rough it in my brother-in-law's RV, which was really super cool. And my dad was out here helping Natalie and I start with some planting. So he came up with this idea of the sunshade, just because about afternoon, the sun really beats on this land and really cooks. As you can see, all the clay is baked down nice and flat and hard. So he thought it would be a really great idea to put up the sunshades on the west side facing the garden. So that way when we put our transplants in, they don't just fry up in an instant. So as the sun tracks over the garden, it'll provide ample periods of shade, some partial shade for those newly growing plants. And then eventually, as the plants mature, we'll start taking the sticks down and then use the structures as trellises for all of our vining plants. And so the last thing that we did, because we don't have our well completely set up yet, is Nathan brought that big IBC tote that we had in the fairy forest, which we used to suck all the water out of the creek. He brought that up over here, and this will be our main source of water for the garden until we get the well hooked up. But that's the update for the garden. A lot of things have been happening. Thanks so much for following along. And again, sorry for the 3-week lapse. So we'll be posting this video sometime soon. But today actually we'll be continuing to work on the chicken coop. So stay tuned for next week, chicken coop part 4. Bye. That's a big one.